having me.
Yeah, so I got Nick Cole here from Grand Canyon University, drafted yesterday by the Cubs. And Nick, just talk me through what you were feeling when we got the phone call that you're going to be drafted.
Well, so the way it happened was the Cubs guy that I've been in contact with for a little while here this season. He texted me, I think just before the 7th round started. And he sent me an offer, asked me if I'm okay with being a Cub. And he also he talked to my agent as well. And then I called my agent and we kind of discussed like, yeah, this is the right way to go. And the stream on my TV was like 30 seconds delayed from what's actually happening on the draft tracker.
Yeah.
So I was on my phone watching the tracker, and then I have the MLB.com on my TV, and my dad texts me and he says, I see your name on there. And I'm like, well, I don't see it yet. And so I look down and then it says my name on the tracker, and then like 30 seconds later it pops up on the TV. So that's kind of how that went down.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. So just, you kind of had a little bit of adversity that you went through when you were at Grand Canyon. Your first couple of years there were up and down, and then your junior year, of course, the pandemic wiped the rest of the season out. So what do you kind of go through to get through some of those tough times and be able to have the success that you had the last 2 seasons?
I think just keeping my focus on the long time goal. So going to college, obviously I want to be part of a Division I program that's on the rise, and I want to get us to our first postseason tournament. We did that the last 2 seasons, so that's amazing, and I can't wait for them to do it every year from now on when I'm not there. But as far as a personal goal, I go there because we're in Arizona, and I think that I have a pretty good chance to play, right out of the gate. And fortunately I did. But unfortunately, I didn't really take advantage of my opportunities early on. So, maybe if I did, maybe this would have happened earlier in my career. But
yeah,
I think that the up and downs that I did have really helped, like my mindset, be a tough competitor, and just if you just go out there and try to win the game for your team, and this kind of stuff will fall into place.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you had times where you pitched out of the bullpen. That 2021 year, you were out of the bullpen and pitched really well, and this year transitioned to the rotation. So do you have any preference of where you pitch, or is it just whatever the team needs you to do?
Well, so starting and relieving, I think, are very different things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not super in tune to the baseball stuff, you might not realize how different they actually are. So, I was a starter in high school, and then I started at GCU as a starter for a little while. So that's kind of what I was used to, staying on a routine, pitching once a week, all that kind of stuff. And then towards the middle of my career, I went to the bullpen because, I thought that the only way to get drafted was to throw as hard as you can. So that was kind of the mindset there. But I think out of the pen, when you're actually pitching in the game, I think it's more fun because you're pitching at the end of the game, you're pitching with tons of adrenaline. You might come in with somebody on base, you really got to get a stop there. So I think that actually pitching is a lot more fun out of the pen. But then on the days you're not pitching, it's like it can screw with your head a little bit because you might feel ready to go in the game on a Monday, and you think the coach is going to call your name and tell you to get hot, and he calls 3 other guys instead of you. So you're like, come on, coach, put me in the game. So that can be kind of frustrating at times. But on the other hand, starting, it's a little more laid back when you're in the game because you got to pace yourself for an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. And your team's counting on you to throw 100 pitches. So that is a little bit more, laid back, less adrenaline. But then throughout the week when you're not pitching, you get to train on schedule. and you get to have like a special workout time, which is you and the strength coach. So they really get to focus on your progression. So that aspect is also really nice.
Is there any specific pitch that you've been working on to try to improve, get your stuff even better?
So this season I was throwing, four seam, slider, and a change.
Mhm.
And then I came over to this place called Push Performance here in Tempe, Arizona, after our season was over. And I hopped on the mound for the first time, and they got the TrackMan and the data pulled up on the iPad behind me, and he's watching me throw my four seam, and he's like, your four seam's a little flat. Have you ever thought about a two seam?
Mm.
And I haven't thrown a two seam in probably 5 years since high school. So, but at this point, I don't have to pitch for a month or two. So I'm like, well, why not? Might as well try something.
Yeah.
And I get up there and I start throwing a two seam, and he's like, dude, this is like really good. It's like a sinker. It's got the same velocity as a four seam, but it's sinking like a ton. So I've been working on that a lot, and I think that's going to be a game changer for me because I can throw that one down in the zone, throw a change up off of that, and then I can throw a four seam up in the zone and throw a curveball and slider off of that one. So I'm excited to see how that does for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think that could definitely help you even, be a starter in the next level. Because most pitchers nowadays have like four pitch mixes, and so definitely can help. Now he's one of the guys that one of your former teammates, Frankie Scalzo, was drafted last year by the Cubs. So are you looking forward to seeing him again, playing with him again?
Definitely. He's definitely one of my favorite teammates I've ever had. So I'm really excited to, if I don't get to play with him the last month or two of the season, I'm excited to hopefully play with him at the start of next season.
Yeah, exactly. You jealous of his mustache he got going?
I'm not really a mustache guy, but I just wish I had some better coverage on the side here.
Yeah, I got you. I'm not the best at growing a mustache either. So
That's all right.
who's a guy that you kind of looked up to as you like even just as a young kid coming up and wanting to play baseball?
Well, yeah, as a kid, I grew up a Mariners fan because I'm from Seattle. So that's been a big part of my life. And, Felix Hernandez was really the only name that I can say in the situation because
Mhm.
he's aside from the last couple of years, he's been a lifelong Mariner, and he's had a lot of success and he's done a lot for the community. So I definitely loved watching him pitch. I think I wouldn't say we have super similar mechanics, but I think that a little bit of my leg turn towards second is a little bit modeled after him. Um, just as a kid in the backyard, you're with your friends and you're copying some of the big leaguers, their mechanics, and so that probably came from that. But
Right.
in college, when I was a freshman, Jake Wong, he was a junior. Now he plays for the Giants, but I would say he's been the biggest role model for me as a player. I always looked up to the way he did things because he did things right, and things are working out for him at the professional level, and I hope to step in his shoes afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's somebody like hitting wise? Who's somebody you're looking forward to facing at some point?
Well, I just heard that one of my teammates, Taylor Aguilar, just got picked by the Yankees.
Right.
So,
Yep.
he's going to be in Florida. I'll be in Arizona, so that kind of stinks. But if we make it to the big leagues, maybe we can toe off again.
Yeah, we'll see. That should be exciting if it does happen. But
Yeah.
as far as like some of the division rivals, what do you have you noticed it? Have you started looking at some of the guys that are going to be playing against for the systems of the NL Central?
Well, I've just been following the tracker today to see. I've been looking at two things, or I guess three things. I'm looking at, who do I know that's getting picked, who from my team is getting picked, and then I want to know who the Cubs are picking because I want to see
Right.
if there's anybody I know getting picked by the Cubs that I'm going to be going up through the system with. And it seems like the Cubs are picking a ton of right-handed pitchers, so there's going to be no shortage of those. But I mean, you look at a major league roster, and over a third of the whole team is right-handed pitchers. So
Yeah, you can never have too much of that for sure.
Right.
Just kind of off the field, is there anything that you've been getting into, that now that it's kind of downtime?
So I've always been a car guy.
Mm.
Um, so in high school, I would do that stuff all the time, and baseball has definitely made me busier than it ever has been, just because college, you got to deal with school and baseball at the same time. So there's not too much time for that kind of stuff. And, like if you're working on an engine and you slip a wrench, one slip wrench and you can break a knuckle. So we really got to be careful with that. I actually, thankfully, it's my left hand, but I was working on a motorcycle in the fall and I actually sliced the tip of my finger off.
Ooh.
Um, so yeah, I had to go to the emergency room for like 5 hours, but thankfully it was a left hand, or else it'd be a different story.
Right. So I think that's all I had for you. So thank you again for taking the time out to come on here.
Yeah, no problem. Who do you write for right now?
I write for actually a couple sites, primetimesportstalk.com, and then I also do Pinstripe Prospects, so I cover like the Yankees system. And
Okay, nice. Well, you have to get with Taylor then. He just got picked by him, so
yeah, I have to see. Yeah, I have an interview for him too.
sweet.
Yeah, I'll be posting this up actually in a couple minutes in video format, and then I'll be doing a write up as well on the site.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hitting me up.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
You're welcome.